Hey there guys, in this video we're going to be doing a quick clear on the Clash of Wills level 99 for farming or for going up the ranks. This is not going to be a budget run or anything. Then we're going to go to the EX stage of Ethne and again do a quick clear, and I'm going to be working on more budget versions of these fights over the weekend, over the next week, etc. But for now, we're going to do the strong, quick clear of these fights. And as far as a rank 1 guide for this fight, you can see my live stream replay if you want to see how I got rank 1. But I'll be working on a much cleaner YouTube guide for rank 1 soon. But here's the team we're going to use for a turn 2 clear. Because we're using like newer units and stuff, it's a little bit harder to pull off. You do kind of want EX2, Richt, and Elena for this specific team. But I'll probably work on other OTKs as well as the week goes on. But anyway, to start off, Blue Mage Fina is going to dual cast. We're going to use Magic Mind Blast to light imperil the boss. And then her Silver Crowned Crowning Veil. That's going to imbue the party, Fairy Killer the party, and amplify the party. Vermilion Deuce is going to quad cast. We're going to do Symphony of Camaraderie for the LB buff, the stat buff. We're going to do Nature's Fantasia for the amplify field. And then Human Killer and Demon Killer for the party. That's going to give us all the killers. Now Kaito is going to remove the boss's preemptive buffs with Unpredictable Tide. We're going to Crashing Waves and then Deep Submersion. And then Richt is going to Shifted LB, Elena is going to Shifted LB, and Dwayne is going to Atonement and Absolution. So we're going to send Richt and Elena together first. Wait just a moment, then we're going to send Dwayne. And as long as we push the boss below about half, we should be fine. And as you can see, if your team is stronger, you can maybe even turn 1 OTK with this party. We couldn't quite get a turn 1 OTK though. So on the 70 threshold, the boss does nothing at all, basically, as you can see right there. So now we're going to go for a turn 2 finish off. We'll just go ahead and if your Deuce is EX2, you can LB. If she's not EX2, you don't need to. But the boss does have these buffs you can't dispel again. So to get rid of that, Richt is going to triple. We're going to use Richt to Moment of Weakness to get rid of the boss's buffs. Then we're going to Hope Entrusted and Determined to Protect. Elena is going to triple. We're going to do Pollux' Blade twice, and then Judgment of Beetlejuice. Kaito will just triple Bolting. Dwayne will LB, and Fina does nothing. So we're going to start off clicking Richt first. He is going to be the first one clicked, and he's going to remove the buffs. Then we're going to chain the rest together. So Richt goes, wait just a moment, and then use Dwayne, and that is the end of the boss right there. There we go. Turn 2 clear. I'll show you the gear in all in a second, and then we'll pop over to the EX stage. Yeah, so as long as the boss, I think the boss has 3.8 billion HP. So as long as you're doing 1.9 per burst, you're going to turn 2 OTK it. I think we did like 2.4 on turn 1 and then a little bit less on turn 2. So Richt obviously is a big carry here. Dwayne is also a big deal. Elena is the leader skill, so that's obviously a big deal, but she also does decent damage. You need someone to remove the preemptive buffs. Kaito does that. And then Deuce and Fina are just our combo to get all 3 killers, Light Imperil, Light Imbue, Stat Buff, LB Buff, etc. And I still don't have a single ticket. Wow, I am not doing good at my farming. I did like 5 practice runs to optimize, and I didn't get a single ticket yet. Anyway, here's the party that we used. Blue Mage Fina, she's free, everybody has her. Do her Silver Crowns, and then you can get the Fairy Killer buff. So the reason we're bringing her is this right here. She does only 100, but 100 Light Imperil, and then her crowned skill is 40 Amplify, Light Imbue, and 160 Fairy Killer for the party, and that's a Silver Crown that was free. Vermilion class Deuce, we're using her for a 200 stat buff, 200 LB buff. We're also using her for the 35 Amplify field to light. We're also using her for a 160 Demon Killer and a 160 Human Killer for the party. And then on turn 2, if you're EX2, you can do a slightly bigger LB buff and a slightly bigger stat buff. Dwayne is obviously very high damage. Here's his build. We're getting the Sword in Peril on turn 1 from Richt. And there it is. He is, I think, almost maxed on everything. I think he's a little bit short. He's a little bit short on Fairy Killer in this build, but there we go. 18.3 attack power. Here is Richt in the shift form, 18.4 attack power. Maxed on everything. It's his Clash of Wills, obviously. So he is perfectly geared for this. Radiant Elena, 16.2 Spirit. Dual wield build, there we go. She's maxed on everything, and she does, she's the leader, which is the important thing. And then Kaito is basically naked. I geared him, in case you're going to turn 3 as well, gear someone as evade, passive provoke with guts, that way they can absorb the second threshold. But we didn't need that. Anyway, let me pop over to the EX fight for a quick clear. See you in a second. Alright guys, next we're going to go to the hard mode EX stage for Ethne. This one's pretty bulky, so it's we're going to go to hard mode, no items, no continues, no KOs, and we're going to not take a friend. You can if you want to, but all we really need is this party right here. So we're going to be using Dwayne, Richt, and 2B to kill the boss, Zahn for tanking as well as spreading, and then Deuce for buffing. So let's get in here and we're gonna do a turn 2 clear on this fight. So give it just a moment. Auto casting, etc. So the boss does these preemptive buffs with wind, light resist, and mitigation. The boss cannot be broken, by the way. So what we're gonna do is Richt is going to triple in the shift form. We're gonna do Radiant Protection, that is going to dispel the boss and imperil the boss. We're going to Light Imbue, and then we're going to Hope Entrusted. 2B is going to True Charge, Supreme Support, and then her Human Killer. Vermilion Deuce is going to quad cast. We're going to do her Elemental Light on Dwayne. We're then going to do Symphony of Camaraderie. We're going to do, let's see, the Epic of Fighting Spirit, and then we're going to do a Human Killer for now. And then Dwayne is going to do his LB. So we're going to send the back row, wait just a second, and then we're going to send Dwayne. A little bit of damage. Now Zahn for the next turn is going to Reflector. We're going to critical the big killer off of 2B. We're going to... That's all we really need. Yeah, the big killer off of 2B. Nothing else matters. We can crit on Richter as well, because why not? And then Projected. Basically, we're just stealing the 250 killer off of 2B and spreading it. Honestly, Zahn is not that important here, now that I think about it. Anyway, so we are passive provoking with evasion with Zahn, and he is also using death immunity. So now we're going to go ahead and kill the boss. We can just do the LB of Deuce. Dwayne can do his Atonement Magnus. Richt can do the Shifted LB. 2B can do the Shifted LB. So we're going to send Richt and 2B first. Wait just a second. And then send Dwayne. And that should be the end of Ethne. There we go. So I'm not going to go ahead and lock that in because I'm going to work on a budget run over time. But we did all missions. So as far as the gear... mana reduction, Deuce, really whatever else. Zahn, passive provoke, death immunity. That's all that really matters. All this Esper fill is not important. Dwayne is just the boss. This boss is only a human, by the way. So max LB, max human. There's his setup. He's kind of just a copy build from Clash. Richt is you know, LB damage versus humans. We don't have as good of a leader skill outside of Clash. And then 2B is LB damage versus humans. And there we go. And the primary damage of that one was actually Dwayne. Dwayne carries that one pretty easily. But anyway, so now it's time to work on a proper rank 1 Clash guide as well as some budget runs for these stages. See you in a bit.